Hi guys, and welcome back for a new video. I'm playing these days with a new router from Tenda. It is actually a pretty affordable model, an AC1200 product. It's called Tenda AC9, and I'm going to show you now the admin interface. Like any modern router, the Tenda the first screen you see, the Tenda launch screen, it's actually a quick setup wizard, and it looks like this. So first of all, we need to choose our internet connection, and we get to choose between PPPoE, dynamic IP, and static IP address. So the setting is actually pretty basic, as you can see, and I'm going to use the dynamic IP address. Next, we need to set up the Wi-Fi settings. Okay, so the transmit power is by default on low setting. I don't know why they are doing this. I'm guessing that everyone would want to use the high power setting, because we all want to the Wi-Fi signal to get to each corner of the screen. Okay, hi, and let's name it Tenda. This is the default Wi-Fi password. For now, we are going to call it test underline or test only. And also we need to choose the password for the login account, which must be at least 5 characters long, but not longer than 32 characters. So let's say admin. Okay, next. So there's also a rule for the Wi-Fi password, as you can see. So we need to have at least 8 characters. Then we choose test underscore Tenda, like this. Next. So although I named the Wi-Fi Tenda, I'm also getting Tenda 5G, as you can see, but the quick setup wizard didn't allow me to set this. This is set by default. And now, okay, now we can go into the admin interface, but first we need to punch in the password. Okay, so this is the welcome screen. It shows you the status of your equipment. The header has a language selector, but as you can see right here, only English is available and some Chinese. Next, there's the info about the wireless. So we have the two networks, the two radio networks, the 2.5 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz networks. The first one is called Tenda because this is what I selected. We can choose the encryption mode, VPA2. Let's choose VPA2, and the Wi-Fi password. I want to change this, so I will choose Tenda underline 2.4, and for the other one also the same encryption mode, and Tenda underline 5.0 and save. Then you can see there's internet connection available. If you click on the router icon, you get information about the equipment here. So you get information about uptime and system time, about firmware. Next, there's the WAN status, the LAN status, and the Wi-Fi status. And you can see here the available connections. So I have one USB drive connected right now, and the router can sense your drive on the fly. Also, there's an unmount button and a quick link to USB App Center, which is this one, but we'll get back here a bit later. This is the icon for online devices. There's only one computer connected right now, and it is shown right here. This is its IP, and you can change the displayed name if you want to, like this. Okay, sorry, there's a typo right here. Save and close. And there's also some Wi-Fi extender icon. Basically, this is nothing more than advertising, because if you click on details right here, you are getting on Tenda's website, and they recommend you to install their A9 extender, but I think this is a bit foolish, because A9, as you can see, is a wireless N product. So I don't know why someone would connect a wireless N product to a wireless Wi-Fi AC equipment. And then you can see the current speed, the one IP address, and the current firmware version. Our next page is called Internet Status. You can see I have the Ethernet cable connected to my WAN port. The connection type is set on dynamic IP address, but I can switch to the other two available modes, like this. And I can set the DNS servers, the automatic ones provided by my internet provider, or I can choose to manually set my desired DNS servers. Okay. Also, there's a connect button, which is actually more like a save button. So the connection status froze on connecting. Okay, so now it disappeared. It switched to connected. Then we have the Wi-Fi settings. The first one, as you can see, the administration menu is pretty friendly, but I think I find it rather childish. I don't know if this might be a problem for any of you, I think the producer is still trying new things, and is trying to 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 get a modern and easy to use design. So, Wi-Fi name and password. This is basically the same window that you saw before, so I'm not going to go through all the details again. Then we have some Wi-Fi schedule tool, because we can choose some time interval when we want the Wi-Fi connections, Wi-Fi networks to be turned off. And also we can specify the desired days, or we can choose to have the same schedule every day. But for now I'm going to disable the Wi-Fi schedule because I don't need it. I want my Wi-Fi to run all the time. We also have the wireless repeating mode. This can be useful for users who want to extend the range of their networks. And as I told you before, Tenda AC9 is quite an affordable router, so it is suited for this kind of operation. So here I can see the available Wi-Fi networks, or I can enter the Wi-Fi name manually because maybe I have a hidden SSID. Okay, I'm not going to use this right now. Then we have some channel bandwidth control. Basically, you can choose the network mode both for 2.5 gigahertz and for the 5 gigahertz networks. The Wi-Fi channel, of course. So these are the 2.4 gigahertz channels, available channels, and 5.0 gigahertz channels. As you can see here, there are only 4 5.0 gigahertz channels available, but this is actually pretty common practice for low budget routers, so I wouldn't worry about this. And then I think I find this rather important, the Wi-Fi bandwidth, because if you live in I don't know, in a crowded area, in a crowded building, you would want to use this automatic mode. So because you want to be a good neighbor, and you want to allow everybody to use their internet. But if you live in a house in the countryside or something like that, I think these settings might be the best, because you would force your devices to work in 40 megahertz mode, and this way you would get the maximum bandwidth for 2.4 gigahertz networks. And it goes the same with the 5.0 gigahertz. As you can see, there's an automatic mode 20, 40, 80. Maybe it should have been another automatic mode 40 or 80, but there isn't. And again, if you don't live in a crowded area and there aren't many Wi-Fi networks in your area, you can simply go for 80, like this, and save. Then there's the transmit power. It's actually the same you saw earlier, only this time we are getting also a medium setting, not only low and high, at least for 2.4 gigahertz, but for 5 gigahertz we only get high and medium. I think this is because the 5.0 gigahertz network is more sensitive to walls and obstacles, and a low setting wouldn't be couldn't be useful anyway. Also, we are getting a new advertising for the same Tenda A9 range extender. And save. Also, we have the WPS tool, so you can use the integrated button on your router, or you can use the dedicated pin to connect your devices to the router. But I am going to completely disable this function because I'm not using it. Of course, we have beamforming technology, which should, at least in theory, optimize your data rate and provide you with better performance as long as you use beamforming compatible adapters. And we also have an AP mode. For those of you that want to use this Tenda AC9 as an access point. I find this wireless repeating and AP mode functions quite a nice surprise for such a low budget product. I wasn't expecting this, so these are actually quite nice to have. Next, there's the guest network, which is by default disabled, as you can see, but we can enable it. And Tenda VIP, wow! So my guests are VIPs for Tenda. Now I'm going to rename it to Tenda Guest and Tenda Guest 5G, like this. Also, we can set up a password. Let's say my guests. As you can see, there's only one password for both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and there's no encryption mode. This is quite strange. I don't know why they made this so basic. And there's no option to choose if you want your guests to access your network or not. Yeah, so this looks like work in progress to me, but we have some validity option. You can choose 4 or 8 hours, or you can keep it always on. And then we have the shared bandwidth tool. So we can limit the available bandwidth for our guests. There are some preset options, 2, 4 and 8 megabits per second, but we can also choose a custom bandwidth. Also this bandwidth, I don't know, I think it means both download and upload, because it doesn't say so. You cannot choose different values for download and upload, and I don't think this is good either. Okay, let's put it to 4 and save. We also get some parental control functionality, and here you can see the connected devices list. So this is my desktop PC, and I can choose the online some online schedule, because maybe I want the internet not to be available to my kid during the night or during learning hours. and I can choose to have the same schedule every day, to have this schedule every day or only in certain days of the week. Also, I can blacklist or whitelist. Whitelist. I don't know why there's a whitelist. Why would I want to unblock websites? Okay. Anyway, I can blacklist a list of websites. Let's say www.xxx.com, and okay, but maybe I don't want to. Okay, so I need to be sure I'm not losing my internet connection. Okay, and save. Then you can edit your rules, or like this. Also, you can change the device name right here, or you can delete. Okay, actually this is not delete, this is disable. Okay, click hit to disable. And if you want to add some rules for other devices that aren't connected right now, all you need to know is the MAC address, and you can punch in the internet accessible schedule and your website blacklist for that device. Then we have some VPN functionality, but only PPTP, like this. So PPTP server, and here you can see the available users, and of course the client. Unfortunately, there's no OpenVPN support right now. And we got to the USB app that I showed you at the beginning. So we can choose to share files. This is enabled because I have the USB flash drive connected right now. Okay, so we have 3 available encodings, but 2 are Chinese. We can choose to allow internet access. So maybe we want to have something like a personal cloud on the device connected to this USB port, and we can access it from internet from outside our local area network. So this is for FTP server. Also, there's the Samba server. And we have by default two users, admin, with the password we already set, and the second user, which is a guest user. Of course, you can rename it, and you can also change the password and the permission, so you can allow someone to only to read or to read and write your files. What I find it strange though that you cannot disable this share file tool. It only goes off when you disconnect your drive. So it's enabled by default and it is stuck to enable because there's no disable option. And then we can use our router as a print server. So, but I don't have any printers connected to the router right now. Let's move on to advanced settings. Here we get the bandwidth control tool. This is actually a pretty basic tool. It's not like a quality of service option. It's just what it says it is, a bandwidth control tool. So we can choose to change the name of the devices again, and we can adjust the upload and download limit for every available device, for every connected device. Then there's the Tenda app. Tenda app means that you can download a mobile device app and use it to control, to set up your router from your mobile device. There's also a sleeping mode, which will turn off your LEDs, the router's LEDs, but it will also turn off Wi-Fi network and USB ports under this sleeping mode. So I don't know how many of you are going to use this. You can basically select a sleeping time interval, and there's also, this is good, it's good there's a delay option right here, because I usually go to bed at, I don't know, let's say 12 o'clock, but maybe sometimes I spend some time in bed on my mobile phone reading stuff on the internet or things like that, and I wouldn't want my Wi-Fi to turn off right when I'm trying to read something or something like that. And we also get some LED control. You can have them always on, always off, and we also have the option to set up a schedule, which is setting up a time interval when your LEDs will be completely turned off. Maybe at night, maybe the router is close to your bed and you don't want the lights to bother you during your sleep. Also, we can do some MAC address filtering, so we can have our blacklist or whitelist with blacklisted or whitelisted devices according to their MAC addresses. The firewall is enabled by disabled, and these are the available tools. There's also IPTV functionality, which is disabled by default, and we can configure some static routes if we need them. There's dynamic DNS support as well, and there are 5 available services right here, and quick registration link for each one of them. The virtual server, it's an important option, because if you are using network area storage with personal cloud functionality, or a file server that you want to access from outside your network, or a multimedia server, or a Plex server, or stuff like that, you would want to create this virtual server list, so that you could be able to access them from outside the network. So you would need to know your internal IP address, and I highly recommend using a fixed IP address, and the LAN port you are going to use. These are some preset ports, but you can choose a manual port. Unfortunately, there's no port range option, so you will have to punch the ports one by one. And this is the external port, the one port, and the protocol you are going to use. This is the demilitarized zone setting, and finally the universal plug and play support. This is good because when it works, it can automatically detect your file servers and multimedia servers, and what it basically does is setting automatically up the virtual servers for you, so you wouldn't need to use this tool. And then next is our last page, system settings. So these are the local area network settings. You can choose your network IP address, gateway IP address, the subnet mask, and you can enable or disable the DHCP server, and choose the IP address range you want to use. Also, you can change the release time, and you can choose alternate DNS servers. Of course, we can reserve we can reserve IP addresses for certain devices using this DHCP reservation option, and you would want to do this if you have network area storage devices, because in order to mount them in Windows PCs, for example, you would need to have the same IP each and every time, and you can do this right here, of course. And the tool also shows you a list with available connected devices, so you can actually, if the devices are connected to your router, you don't need to know the MAC addresses. You just punch the desired IP address here, and you create the bind between the two of them. So one settings, so get the MTU, the speed, and you can clone another MAC address if this is necessary with your internet provider. Also we have the time settings. Okay, synchronized with internet time. Okay, if you say so. So you can see it changed. So it seems to be working. We can change the login password, but we need to know the old one. There's a reboot and reset option. Reboot does what it says it does. It reboots your device, and reset will reset your router to factory defaults. The firmware upgrade tool has two modes: online upgrade and local upgrade. I am already using the latest version, so you can see the message right here. No later version is available. So this actually works. I used it and it works, and it's pretty quick and safe. Or you can go for local upgrade, but this way you would need to go to Tenda website, download the firmware, and then upgrade it to your router. There's a backup and restore function. You can choose to backup all of your settings in a file stored on your local computer, or you can restore the settings stored in a file from your local computer. Remote management is also available, but you need to know the remote IP address and port. There's also the same system status you saw earlier. System log. So there's no, as you can see, there's no filtering tool here, so everything is piled up, and we can choose to export this. Maybe we want to show it to someone. And finally, there's this automatic maintenance thing. Basically, this will automatically reboot your router at a specified time. I don't know why they have this. Maybe they are afraid that when the CPU gets overloaded or something, or when the router runs for a couple of weeks straight, maybe the performance will not be as good as before, and they have this tool. You can choose to have a reboot sometime during the night, let's say 3 or 4 a.m. or stuff like that. And there's also this delay option, so if you have some data exchange at speeds higher than 3 kilobytes per second, the reboot will be delayed until there is no more traffic. Okay, and you can save this, or you can of course choose to disable this system reboot option, so it's not mandatory. This is basically all Tenda AC, everything that Tenda AC9 can do for you. Thank you for watching. I hope it was useful. I repeat, this is a very affordable router, so it is a low budget product, and you can't demand too much from it, but I think it runs rather well. Its management interface is pretty easy to use, although it is not that complex, but it can do quite enough for its money. And I think I would recommend this product to low budget users and to beginners, of course. So thank you once again for watching, and see you next time.